All right, good morning, everyone. I'm Julien Musolino. I'm an academic, actually, a professor of psychology and cognitive science at Rutgers University. I'm also the author of The Soul Fallacy, a book that came out about a year ago, and I'll be talking about this on Sunday morning at 10, so I hope there'll be a lot of people. This is my first DragonCon, so I'm very excited.
You haven't seen anything yet, by the way. No.
Well,
I'm not even kidding.
When I landed at the airport last night, there was a big banner in the airport advertising DragonCon, so I knew that this was something big. So I'm super happy to be here, and I'm looking forward to all the events, to the parade on Saturday morning, the costumes, and interacting with the other people in the crowd. So for me, a pressing issue is to try to change academic and scientific culture in the following way. So as scientists, we are rewarded to do primary research, to find out how the world works, but we're not rewarded to communicate with the public. Some of us do it. We're encouraged to do it by universities, by funding agencies, but there are no rewards within the system. And I think that's a big problem. It's a problem because there needs to be many more scientists, academics, professors out there pushing the cause, explaining science to the public, writing for the public. So that's something that's become very urgent for me because I've been in the ivory tower for all my life, essentially, and I've stepped out recently, and now I'm at events like this one, and I'm realizing how few people in my profession. You have the well-known ones, of course, the Richard Dawkins, the Steven Pinkers, but there are far fewer than you would imagine who actually do things like that, again, because they're not rewarded. Once many more of us come out and start doing things like that, I think that's a way to put pressure on political bodies to engage the public, to engage students. I have students who, you mentioned evolution, so I have a story about this. I had a science major who once came to me after a lecture and told me he did not believe in evolution, at least in human evolution, because nobody was around to see it happen. And so he explained to me, he said, you see, Professor, science is something that we can recreate in the lab. If nobody was around to see it happen, it didn't happen. So I was tempted to tell him that nobody was around to see his parents have sex, but we could reliably infer from his presence in the room that this somehow must have happened. I mean, just think about this for a second. This guy was graduating from college with a science degree, and that's the kind of argument that he was pushing. So that's, in fact, there's, I'm going to do a plug for the Free Thought Society. There's a little blurb that I wrote. You can pick it up in the back. It's called The Curse of the Carl Sagan Effect, that discusses this issue that I think is very pressing. Yeah, right. There are many other things I wish I could have told him, but I agree. It would be wonderful to be able to start younger. The problem, I think, is that there's a big difference between the kinds of thoughts that we engage when we think about religious notions and the kind of thoughts that we engage when we do science. The first one, it turns out, is very natural. We are creatures that were, I'm not going to say designed, but that evolved with certain psychological profiles that make religion or religion thought very natural. Science, by contrast, is very unnatural. It takes years of training to think scientifically. That's why, back to what we were saying earlier, it doesn't come naturally. And so we have this problem to begin with. And so I think that education is a huge factor and very important to combat the natural. And in a way, we are the odd ones out. Scientists are odd because they don't think like most people. They really are taught to think differently for many years. And so trying younger, I think, would be a very good idea. It has indeed, yes. That's a real effect. And what's interesting is that it's only a subpart. IQ measures different things. There's one thing it measures that's called analytical thinking, and that's the thing that keeps getting better. And it's been linked to more and more complex societies, our use of technology, et cetera, et cetera. Even in the U.S., it's happened. So I think there's hope. I think there's hope.
You're Italian, aren't you?
How can we spread it to politics?
You're Italian, aren't you?
Is Texas in the U.S.?
No.
I go to a church where we actually, I want to teach critical thinking to the children as part of their religious education. And I haven't been able to find any curriculum. I found one book, children's book, where there's a little girl trying to debunk a ghost story.
That's my book.
Well, thank you.
Scooby-Doo works pretty well.
Scooby-Doo is fantastic.
Old Scooby-Doo, not the movies.
How old are the children that you're trying to teach?
Well, they're all ages.
Starting-
I would probably be working with the kids from the 5th through the, high school.
Mm-hmm.
I also would like to be able to do it with adults in my church with critical thinking or analytical thinking. I don't know of any curriculum for that either.
I'm happy to suggest some. So Skeptic magazine, for example, has a junior skeptic section at the end, which is very good. They're also they're on my mind because I just wrote a blurb for them. But Guy Harrison has. We can talk after this if you'd like, but has a couple of books on just that. His latest one is called Good Thinking. It's written for the general public. Children, high schoolers could probably use it too. It's very, very good.
Are there pictures? I'm learning this.
No, I don't think there are pictures. No.
Actually, on that note, almost all the books that Guy Harrison has done actually kind of speak to the things that you would be worried about,
Exactly,
because
yeah.
he writes books that are kind of aimed at the general population.
Yep.
Actually, most of his books do.
Yeah, so those would be good. But we can talk if you'd like. If you contact me, I can send you all kinds. There are articles that are written for the general public.
I'd like to be included in that conversation. 'Cause
Yeah, absolutely.
I think there's a project that needs to be done.